hate speech and lies, outright lies against the Western Israel.
التي تصنع الفطير من دم الأطفال الأبرياء.
The ironic thing about this whole thing is that if you look at reality, you can see what we accused the Jews of doing. We carried it out literally.
فالقتل في سبيل الله أشهى أمانيهم، والإدخال في جنودك وحلفائك من أسعد لحظاتهم، وحز رؤوس الكفرة المجرمين تطبيق لأمر ربنا.
Cameras are there for the whole world to see it, but the world refuses to see.
When I see films like Shatat or broadcast during Ramadan, I see a recurring theme. I don't see anything new, in fact. I see attacks against Jews. I see an attempt to depict Jews as bloodthirsty people, as murderers, as a people who would sacrifice Christian children to drink their blood during their holiday.
حبيت ذوقك في القصح المقدس. شكرا. كيف شفتها مطيبة؟ عادية مثل الفطاير الدنيا. لا تغلط، هي ألذ وأقدس لأنه معجون بدم نقي، دم جزء.
What is significant is not just the film, but the time in which it was shown. Ramadan is a time when people will look at the TV because it is a month in which Muslims traditionally think there's a lot of blessing and there's a lot of religious education going around. So when you choose that month to show a particular film that is anti-Semitic, you are grabbing an almost captive audience.
And it just shows you how dangerous propaganda could be. How could you possibly believe this in the 21st century? How could you possibly believe this? And yet, they believe it because of the incessant propaganda.
If you would have asked me when I was 6 years old, who are the worst people on the face of this earth, my answer would have been they're Jews. They ought to be killed.
إسرائيل هي عدونا. هذا كيان غاصب غير قانوني غير شرعي ولا مستقبل له في أرضنا ومصيره يعبر عنه دمنا والشعار الموت لإسرائيل.
Almost the first people who applauded Hitler's rise to power were the Arabs.
The Nazis and the Islamists share a common conspiracy theory. The Jews control America, for example. This is the way that it is portrayed day in, day out in the Arab media.
مخطئ من ظن بأن أمريكا هي التي تتحكم في إسرائيل وقراراتها، إسرائيل المزعومة. لا، بل إن الصهيونية العالمية هي التي تحرك القرار الأمريكي على الريموت كنترول.
If you believe all that, then you are engaged in a war of survival for your very existence.
نواجه معركة أكبر بكثير مما تتصورون. إننا نواجه معركة مع الصليبية، نواجه معركة مع الصهيونية العالمية.
And in that sense it's identical to Nazi propaganda. This is a war of propaganda in which the same techniques of subversion that we saw earlier in the challenge posed by fascism and Nazism are repeating themselves.
The propaganda of Islam is very similar to the propaganda of Nazism. It's the same hate speech, paranoia, and us against them.
Here is a critical point that is generally